Good evening. You're watching Outside the Box, the show that gives you the opportunity to interact with political party candidates. As earlier mentioned, all registered parties have been invited to be part of this show. To our daily poll now, yesterday's question was, should the cost of living adjustment or COLA payment system be reintroduced? 84.74% voted positively, while 5.08% disagreed. Today's question is, should changes be made to the land bank? Text your answer, a simple yes or no, to 3592. The poll is open to Vodafone, Digicel and Ink users. Charges apply. Now, joining us first on the show tonight is seasoned lawyer Faizal Koya. And when it comes to politics, he has literally seen it all, growing up in a family laced with renowned politicians, like his very own father, the late Chidik Muhyiddin Koya, or famously known as SM Koya. Now, closely following in his members' footsteps, Faizal Koya has descended into politics. Good evening, Mr. Koya, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good evening.
Now, may I start with your brother Fayaz has joined Fiji First. Now, your father was always part of NFP. He was heading the party at one time. Has your brother broken, that tradition?
I don't know about breaking the tradition. Is the fact that that was his choice, and I've already spoken to the media about it. I'm born in FP and I'll die in FP.
Okay.
And
so, but do you have any problem with your brother?
No, I don't have any problems with that. It's his democratic right. I'm here to fly the flag of NFP, and I'll do it till my last breath.
Will that affect anything between you two?
No, it doesn't affect. That's his democratic right.
Now, you'd like to focus on the rule of law. Why?
Well, for the last 7 years, as you can see, the lights have been off. The lights have been off in the sense that people haven't been able to express themselves. For any country to have a good governance, they must have parliament. And when parliament is there, it also is the father, it is the creator of the law, which the courts interpret. When there's a good legal system, it brings good governance. And this is what the people should know. When there is good governance, and when there's good legal system, that's when people are represented well, and this is how they can express themselves. And the best way to express themselves is parliament. You can agree to disagree, you have the spirit to agree to disagree, but the point is that is where decisions are made for everyone, each and every citizen of this country. We don't have laws shoved down our throats. We are not pressurized in everything. It is done democratically, it is done transparently, it is done in the spirit of democracy.
There's a question from one of our viewers tonight, the text question. Will your party reserve the name Fijian for Itoke only when you come into power?
Well, our leader have already spoken about that. Right, that is an issue that we'll address when we go to Parliament. We respect culture. When has there been a time when NFP, in its history of 51 years, ever stepped on the toes of indigenous and their culture? We've always respected it, and we always will be, but when we cross the road, we will make sure the people, we will have a forum, and then that's when we will address it. But the whole exercise of this issue is the democratic process.
Okay, there's a call on the line. Paula from Tadirua. Go ahead, Paula, and ask our guest tonight your question.
Mr. Koya, my question is very simple. What innovative idea does FNP, your party have to bring into the parliament, to the policy? There's so many things people think about going their land, indigenous right. But what innovative idea do you guys have so that we can vote for you guys?
Okay, he's talking about he's talking about indigenous issues.
Our hands are clean. We don't have bloods in our hand. We're coming in these elections with clean hands, with the right attitude. How's that?
And he's asking, should that be the point? They should vote for your party into parliament in this election?
This is a party that's been through everything. This is a party that has a foundation for 51 years. We have won elections, lost elections. We're the father of all parties. Why shouldn't they? We have the most dynamic team, and we will come down in these elections like Apache's going to.
Exactly. No. NFP has yet to win a single seat in parliament.
Well, we've won it before, haven't we? But we have never, ever.
But that was long time back.
Doesn't matter. But history. How we will gain the confidence because of our history. There's new parties now. Have they won or lost elections? They haven't. But we are so strong We are so dynamic, and we have the fire in our belly and the team that is 150% behind our leader, and we shall prove to the people that we are the right balanced team to go through.
Under a rule of law, does a ruler has a divine right? Does a ruler have a divine right?
The word divine only comes from the Lord above. We are individuals, we are human beings. Human beings should respect each other. We do not believe in suppression. We believe in freedom of expression. And in 3 weeks' time, people will decide on the expression. This is what NFP is saying.
Now, one of the issues you also like to discuss with the people tonight is the relevance of hands-out reports. What is it about?
Well, if I quickly want to say it, because we follow the Westminster system, because the hands-out reports is very important for the court system to interpret why those decisions were made. If you see, there's so many decrees that's come out. The courts cannot go beyond the decrees. But when you have acts that's enacted by Parliament, debated, the courts, if they have difficulty, they apply the golden, literal, and the mischief rule to ensure there's a balanced decision. And this is good for the country. And this is what's been happening in the past. For the last 7 years, the lights have been off in this process. The people must know that in order for you to have good decisions and a good legal system and a good democratic process, you must have this process. The decrees must all be vetted through Parliament. Every single decree should be filtered. This is what we're saying.
You're saying that?
Yes.
Okay, but you're not questioning the existence of previous hands-out reports in this case, do you?
Well, what can we, the previous hands-out reports are there because there was Parliament. As far as, you see, NFP is concerned, yes, we did lose previous elections, but we respected the hands-out reports. We will reflect on them. Doesn't mean that we won't. Hands-out reports are hands-out reports, full stop.
What's your view on the public audited accounts that has to be given?
Well, this is the thing. We, as candidates, we have to furnish all our assets and liabilities. This is taxpayers' money. Why has that not been done up till to the eve of the elections? If you want the people to decide exactly who should people vote, if you want the people to know where the taxpayers' money is gone, if you feel that this is the transparent way to do it, why aren't the current government revealing it?
Final question for you: will you continue on your father's legacy, or will you create your own legacy?
Well, I am myself, but I am in the shadow of my father. I'm a proud son of his, and I will continue his legacy if need be. But it's up to the people to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Koya.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Joining us next is Losena Salabula from SODELPA Party. Welcome back. Join our discussion live tonight by texting in your questions to 3599 or call our studio line 3302-100. And remember, you can have your say in our daily poll. The question is still, should changes be made to the land bank? Simply text yes or no to 3592 to all Vodafone, Digicel, and Int users. Now, Losena Salabula from SODELPA joins us now. Bula, madam, welcome to the show. Madam, you were an assistant minister for women in the SDL government.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, do you think you served women well during your term then?
For the short time we were in government, I'm confident to say that we have served the women to the best of our abilities. Unfortunately, our time was cut short.
Right. I'll just go to the promises that are entailed here in the party's manifesto. One of those is establish legislation to effectively deal with violence and crimes against women and children. That's one of those. Now, the question is, you had a chance to do this then when you were in power. Why didn't you?
Well, I think it's not that we didn't want to do it. Earlier I mentioned that unfortunately that our time was cut short, because in the second general elections we were short-lived, only up to 6 months, and nothing much we could do. We did the best, and all that was supposed to be done in the 4 years on our first term, we did as much as we could.
Yeah, but you didn't have a chance to finish it off.
Yes, we will certainly have a chance to do as much as we can.
With your decision to contest these elections, do you think you will have a better chance to go into Parliament? Do you think people will still vote for you?
Yes, I am confident of that people still have the confidence in the former SDL, now SODELPA, and they trust us that we can do the work for them.
Right. Now, another promise in your manifesto to ensure the promotion of gender equality and empowerment of women. Now, isn't this being done? Do you agree?
We started off with that because in the last SDL government, remember that our country, Fiji, was one of the very first countries in the Pacific. The second, Samoa was the first, and Fiji was the second to was able to report to the committees of the SEDO, to the United Nations, and we from then on, this was in 2002 January. From then on, we have started to fulfill the what we have ratified in the SEDO.
Now, don't you think women are well cared for, with current policies? Do you think?
I don't think so, because I think in the 2013 Constitution, there's very little or not at all anything mentioned about the women in the 2013 Constitution.
Yeah. Okay. But again, in your party manifesto, you are saying that you ensure that development objective encourages the participation of women in the economic, social, and political development of Fiji on an equal basis with men, without discrimination of any kind. Again, you have the chance to do this whilst you were in government. Could have put out a policy which succeeding governments would have abide by that.
Yes, in our manifesto, we want to ensure that the women are empowered and also to be represented at all levels of decision making, right from down and up. At least 30% of the women are representing the women at those different levels in decision making, both in government and in private sector.
Yeah, you would agree, and you will appreciate that 50% of voters this year will be youths, and many of them will be young women. What do you have for them in store?
Yeah, we sure of that more young people are in the voters for 2014 general elections, and young women are quite a number of them, and we are going to ensure that the interests of the young people are part of the main development plans for the SODELPA.
Thank you. Now, Yado from Suva is on the line. Yado, go ahead and ask your question to Ms. Salabula.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I got a question. My name is Yalo, and I got a question for Losena Salabula. The question is, do you think there is a lot of certainty going now, or there is a lot of uncertainty? Thank you.
Can you just repeat that question, please, Mika?
Yeah.
I can't hear. My
I think
earphone is not working.
I think what Mr. Yado is asking, do you think that a lot of Itoke is going through a period of uncertainty?
Yes, I am sure of that a lot of indigenous Fijians are going through a lot of period of uncertainty now, but I am sure too that after the SODELPA have already visited them and talked to them on the indigenous issues, they sort of, they have come to their senses, and now they can decide which party to vote for, which is SODELPA that they will vote for.
Now, what's your views of the issue of the sewing machines to all women in the country?
Mika, I will only talk about the sewing machine that I used to issue the women during the SDL government.
So what's the difference between that machine and the ones that have been issued by this government?
Well, I'm not too sure of the kind of machines that the current government regime is issuing or was issuing to the people, to the women of Fiji. But I can say about the sewing machines that used to be issued by the SDL, I make sure that the staff would buy the best.
Well,
Two brands that I always ask my staff, you buy either Brother or Singer for the women of Fiji. So what those machines are for, to develop the women, and the development should be sustainable. So they need the best machines to see that the development or the work that they are involved in their small businesses is sustainable and not...
So you're questioning the brand of the machines that are being issued now?
Well, actually, I don't know what kind of brand of machines they're issuing now, whether it's...
Or the choice?
Yeah, or the choice. I'm not too sure of the kind of machine that they are issuing. But I have heard of, in some places, that it's not doing a good job for the women.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Salabula. In our final segment, we are joined by Deo Narayan from the Fiji Labour Party. Welcome back. Remember, you can join the discussion live tonight by texting in your answers or questions to 3599 or call our studio line 330-2100. Now joining us is Deo Narayan from the Fiji Labour Party. Good evening, Mr. Narayan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mikalonga.
Now, Mr. Narayan, you were in the police force for 35 years. What do you think of our police force now?
Mr. Mika, the police force, the credibility, the thing has gone down. And I think we need more improvement. And the other side, we look at the logistics side of the police force. We need other assistance to be given to the police force.
Now, would the FLP and you personally look into the role of FICAC? You were once an officer of FICAC.
That's true, Mr. Mika. I was an officer with FICAC.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was after, in 2007. I joined the FICAC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about the salaries of the police force now? What do you think?
Oh, the salaries are very low. Once our Fiji Labour Party will come into power, we'll review the salaries of the police officers. The police officers must get the highest salary in the country. We must not have corruption within the police force.
What makes an effective police force in the country?
It's the leadership of the police force. We must have a good leadership, and the people of our country should rely on the police force.
Well, we have a new police commissioner, you know, all the way from South Africa, who's qualified, who's experienced. Do you think he'll make a very good one, make a lot of changes, good changes for our police force?
Mr. Mika, see, we have our own people in our own country who knows the culture of our people in our own country. Why can't we keep our own people as Commissioner of Police?
So you don't agree with the current appointment?
No, I do not agree, because before we had Mr. P.U. Raman, who was leading the, Josepha Lewandai was leading, Jimmy Corey was leading the police force. Why can't we have our own people in our own country?
Yeah, but you just told me a short while ago that you know, the police still lack that development that you know, the country wants to see, and we have local police commissioners, you know, during the past few years, but you know, like you said, we still need to see the improvement. Now Fiji has gone overseas to look for one. Maybe we could find the answer there.
Yeah, it's good. At last they found one. But we need improvement in our police force. Before we used to have patrol cars on the road. As soon as a report is within the area, we had 3 patrol cars. Within an area there is a report, so it's immediately attended by the patrol cars. At this time and moment, if you go to a police station, there is no vehicles at all.
Okay. Now, I think Faroon is on the line. Mr. Faroon, go ahead and ask your question. Okay, well, let's go on offline again, Mr. Let's continue. Now, your manifesto talks about a police integrity commission. Tell us more about that.
Okay, we need a police force where our people can rely on our officers, can stay in our country without fear. and we must have a proper officers where people can trust them. Honest police officers on the road.
Honest police officers
Yes.
on the road. Now, if you were to be voted into Parliament, in the next general election, September 17, what is the immediate thing that you will do?
Okay, it is not only me, it will be the government of the day. We'll collectively look into the matters. But for the police officers, I'll look into the matter for their salaries and their logistic vehicles, and all those should be immediately improved.
Now, Mr. Narayan, there's been a lot of criticism against the Fiji Labour Party, in the last few days, and there's been a lot of questions, drawn out about the party and its leadership. Do you feel comfortable in all this, going towards elections? Do you think you can, you have the confidence of going ahead and win?
Mr. Longa, I have a big confidence in the Fiji Labour Party. Because of the leader, Mr. Mainpal Chaudhry, I joined this party.
What is it about him that?
Since I've been, my age is about 59 years. Since Mr. Chaudhry came in 1985, formed the Fiji Labour Party, and I've seen a very credible man who can run this country, who is capable of running the country.
Unfortunately, he's not contesting the elections.
Oh, that's true.
Okay. All right. Well, 50% of our voters this year will be youths.
That's
now you are. Do you call yourself a new face in politics?
Yes, it's true.
And do you agree with the notion that young people will be looking out for new young faces to lead them?
Yes, you are very correct, Mr. Mika. Now the young people who will be voting for the first time will be looking forward for the new people in the parliament. So that's where we are here to help them.
You help them.
Yeah,
all right.
We will surely help these young people.
Mr. Kelly from Sikantok is on the line. Mulubinagis Kelly, go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, no, the question I'd like to ask is, the question I'd like to ask is, at present, this government, some of the companies are working as contract workers. They are working as contract workers, where the workers are working without not being paid at time and a half or double time.
Okay. What's your question, Mr.
What will the Labour government do if they come on power?
Okay. Did you take the question? Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
I heard him. He has been asking what Fiji Labour Party will do when we will come into power about the contract basis. We will scrap the contract basis like before it was being done. We had people employed on merit basis, like we had PWD. We'll bring those back into power, bring it back. And that's where we'll have people have their salaries and all those things.
What do you think the issues of the youth, what do you think they want in these elections?
Oh, the youth nowadays will be looking for the employment. Once they are graduated, they will surely ask for the employment with our government, any institution.
Do you think they will vote for you?
Yes, I am 100% sure. These youths, whatever we got in our manifesto, the young youths will surely come to us.
And are you 40% sure of winning the next election?
Yes, I am 100% sure, Mr. Mika, that we will win this election. I am 100% sure.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And that's all for tonight. Tune in again tomorrow to view the results of our poll. Remember, you can still text in your answers. The question line will be open until 6 p.m. tomorrow. Again, the question is, should changes be made to the land bank? Now, text in your answer yes or no to 3592. Join me again tomorrow as we continue our extensive coverage heading into the elections. Good evening.
I was not prepared.